Hello, hello, the Duck is in, and welcome back to another chapter of One Punch Man. It's been quite a while. Uh, we've been on break for a month? But we're finally making return to form, and this chapter, overall, pretty solid, but we'll get into that in the discussion section. Basically, the last chapter concluded the Monster Association Garo arc. Everything has been wrapped up in Nippo, and now we're on to finer pastures. Chapter starts off actually. We basically have some random heroes trying to bully somebody who lives in 104. Well, room 104 of the Hero Association areas, right? Well, it's probably Saitama, but Saitama's not there at the time because we'll find out what he's doing later, but he's not there at the time. And it turns out King's in there. And basically, the other heroes show up to bully the new hero, the newbie who is Saitama, who probably wouldn't have gotten really bullied anyway. But King shows up, and basically, they look at his face, they get all intimidated, and he's basically like, oh, the newbie who I thought lived here. That's what King says. The newbie who I thought lived here isn't here. I wonder where he went. And Saitama. We cut away from that, and we go to Z City. And we see that a little helicarrier is coming looking for Pig Guy, who is rummaging through the rubble. We also see that there is one more cell of black sperm hanging out, and he's basically hiding in the rubble, trying to avoid Pig God, who's looking for something, and black sperm presumes that it's him, but it's not. But as he's going, you have the guy from the Hero Association, the helicarrier, coming over. He's basically like, hey, Pig God, you gotta take care of yourself, go back to the hospital. And Pig God's like, no. Don't worry, guys. I'm just looking for something real quick. Don't worry about it. And so, the Hero Association representative, he kind of presumed this would happen, so he sends in this A-rank hero named Air. Interesting look to him. Got a cool boomerang. This guy shows up, and he's on demon time. He's over here like, oh, it only takes 5 minutes to finish off a wounded pig. And it's like, you're only here to just come get the guy. You're not supposed to be fighting him. But the guy runs off, and basically, we get a little synopsis of probably what a lot of heroes are thinking, but what he's thinking, right? And he basically says, from what I heard, each and every one of these so-called pillars were taken out by that single hero hunter. He doesn't even understand that he would have died from radiation poisoning. But let's go on. They were spoiled by their position, neglected their training. The majesty of the S-Class has fallen. Which, there's some truth to that. But on the other hand, it's like, they were literally fighting basically a god level threat. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they got fucked because, one, they're fighting really tough opponents, and two, yes, because they were neglecting their training and being kind of assholes. But that's not to neglect the point that they were fighting god level threats. Shit was not sweet. This guy would have been useless, but not important. So the guy pulls up, and he's talking to Pig Guy. He's like, oh, you're either gonna come along peacefully or you can fight me for your freedom. He's gonna press in Pig Guy, and Pig Guy's like, look, honestly, I'm here on business. I don't really got time for this. But anyway, off to the side, they both spot something. Turns out to be Evil Natural Water, who also seems to have survived this whole ordeal, right? And so the boomerang guy is like, oh, well, a monster, I guess I'll destroy that. And he throws a boomerang at it. And of course, Evil Natural Water, he senses bad emotions, so he fires off on him and shoots the guy through his neck. As far as I'm concerned, he's dead. And then Pig God hops on him. All right, Evil Natural Water was not quick enough, and he gets 8. But once he gets 8 by Pig God, he still fires off, and he fires off a bunch of blasts throughout his body. And Pig God takes a little bit of damage, but he says he's fine, and apparently he was able to digest him. And so from there, the Hero Association guy is like, oh, well, if that was all, then are you ready to go back? And Pig God's kind of like, nah, if I try to go on the helicopter, it's not gonna fly away. How about you take that guy to the hospital and I'll just walk my way back? Kind soul Pigott is. Big man, big heart. And Pigott also says for the Hero Association to survey the area in case there's any survivors or anybody left over or anything like that. And so Black Sperm decides that it's time to get going. So as we have Black Sperm traveling around, he's like, all right, well, the Monster Association was wiped out. I just gotta kind of get some protein going so I can get more cells going, because he only has one cell. He has no more cells. This is it. He only got the one body, so he's being really careful about encountering anybody who could be dangerous, right? And as he's traveling, he spots a bald-headed man looking for his household, and of course it is Saitama. And not only Saitama, Genos. And Black Sperm almost loses his mind. All right, he dodges out the way, and we find out he actually is aware that Saitama's the one who defeated Garou. So another person has joined the ranks of the ones who know the holy word. And so of course Black Sperm's like, well, I obviously don't want to see this guy, because if he spots me, he's just gonna go like, and I'm gonna disappear. So we have him kind of trying to hide, as Genos kind of seems to have noticed him, but actually he noticed Rover, which we did know Rover had turned into a tiny dog. And so we got Saitama getting all excited. It's like, oh my god, a little guy. And so Black Sperm's analyzing the situation. He's basically like, oh dang, Rover, sucks to be you, huh? You got caught by these guys, they're probably gonna murder you. It's rough. Well, while they're killing you, I'm gonna be outie. But as he's kind of like looking back to see what happens to Rover, he notices that Saitama kind of taking a liking to Rover, right? He's like, why isn't he like spotted him? And so Black Sperm did a little analysis. He's like, oh well, you know, Rover is a dog, and it seemed like that Saitama guy, he doesn't really seem like a needless murderer kind of guy. So if he feels like it's a dog, I guess he wouldn't necessarily attack it. And so he's gonna just watch it from a distance, and Genos ends up having to go, so he leaves, and the Black Sperm decides, you know what, if this Saitama guy likes animals, you take him in, maybe my best shot is Uki Uki. And that's the end of the chapter. All right, that's what Black Sperm's spot was. He's decided that his best shot is to be looked down on as a pet and live in Saitama's house, wherever he's gonna live. And yeah, overall pretty good chapter. Return to form, chill, cool vibes. We'll be getting into some more heat sooner than later, but we do get to, I guess this is more of tying up loose ends in terms of the Monster Association, where we have Evil Natural Water officially taken care of. We have a continuing plotline for Black Sperm, saying basically he's not dead. Rover now is Saitama's pet, it seems, which, hey, that's cool. But it also seems like Saitama has his own apartment building with the Hero Association or something, which I don't remember that from before, but perhaps I just have bad memory, which I do. Overall, like I said earlier, pretty good chapter. Things went on fine enough. And with it all being said, if you like, leave a like, leave a dislike if you dislike. Comment, what do you think is going to be happening in the next chapter? I feel like from here we can really go in any real direction. But what do you think is going to happen? Subscribe if you want to see more videos like these every time a new chapter comes out. I cover a bunch of series. Feel free to check out my catalog if you want to know what I cover. And with that all being said, thank you for watching this video all the way to this point, or skipping to this point because you're a weird person. And the doc is out. Peace.